Hi guys, my name is Danny Thurman. I've got unboxing review today of the Axiscreat X6060. I'm going to be unboxing. I'm going to take it all out of the box, set it up on the table, show all the parts. I'm going to show the assembly. I'm going to show running the software, some of the software that I use, and how to I'm going to demonstrate this model really well because Axiscreat is a really good company, and their CNCs have been really good. I have the Axis S already that I purchased myself, but Axiscreat so kind enough to send me this newest model to do a review on, and I'm going to do an extensive review on this this new model they have to show you what all it can do. It's supposed to be more of a commercial professional grade CNC, a wood carving machine. So it's going to be an adventure. So I'm looking forward to the doing the review for you guys. Be sure and like and subscribe to the channel so you can get updates, because I plan on doing more in the future. Danny, the CNC guy. I've got the 6060 Axiscreat unboxed. This is the 6060X model. It has the fluid NC controller, which is a new Gerbil variation of controller, which works really good. I have it on my other CNC machine. The 6060S is what I have, that I'm going to be replacing it with this one. So I'm going to read off some of the specs of this machine. It's a closed-loop stepper motor with upgraded 710W spindle, and then it has dual linear rails. I'll take the camera down and kind of walk around everything. It has ball screw milling. It's a ball screw milling machine, which means everything. It doesn't have the belts. It has the worm gears, which is more accurate for cutting and more precision cutting. So I'm going to take the camera down and give you a good close-up view. I'm going to do some close-ups of all of the accessories that's with the machine. You got your real nice spoil board. You got your linear rails. Take a good look. It's got your worm gear, which everything runs on a worm gear, so it's very accurate. You got your fluid NC controller. You got your drag chain. You got your upgraded spindle, your hold downs. You've got a probe. You got a box with all your accessories, which I've showed you earlier. But it's got a flash drive, probably got the owner's manual in it, and all of your tools and bolts that you need to put this machine together is in this box. So this is going to be a pretty good video. I'm going to get it together and show you what it'll do. I'll go over some of the software that runs it, and the software that I use, and then the software that comes with it, which is Candle, which is okay, but I use open builds to actually run my programs. But we'll go over all that once I get it set up. I really appreciate Axiscreat sending out this machine for me to do the review on. It's a really nice looking machine. I'm looking forward to getting it together. You can see all the parts here. I've got the 6060S that I use, that I had bought earlier in last year, and it's been a really good machine. I'm looking forward to seeing what this machine will do. It's supposed to be really accurate. It's got your worm gears. It's got your linear rails. It's got the new fluid NC controller that is really nice. I mean, it's Wi-Fi accessible. I think it can even be Bluetooth. I'm not sure, but you know, you got all your parts. You got your drag chain. You got your spindle. You got your box with everything you need. So I'm looking forward to getting this together. Okay, guys, at this point, I moved my other CNC over, and I made sure that you need to make sure your surface is level where you're going to set up your machine. So I went and I leveled all the machine up, and now I'm going to start transferring the new one over here, and I'll do it probably in fast motion. So once I get it set up, then I'll stop and start the review again. just want to show you this tray. This tray has everything you need to assemble this machine. It's got your USB, which I'm sure has your owner's manual and different things in it. It comes with a nice, look like a nice V-bit, and it comes with a end mill bit. It has brushes for your, has some replacement brushes for your spindle. Has all your Allen wrenches, everything you need should be in this box. I got everything laid out, the bolts that I need to assemble this laid out here. It looks as if these stay in and they work as alignment here to make sure everything lined up on both sides. So there's 8 of these and there's 8 of these, so I've got to decide which ones go in there to make it work. So I just wanted to point that out, short video. So to get the gantry on here, it appears that I'm gonna have to take this end off, set it on it, and put this end back because it won't spread wide enough to put it on there. So that's what I'm gonna do next. What I'm doing now is I took the 4 bolts out here. I've loosened this one up enough that I think I can get it on there. So once I get it on and get it set, I'll come back. So once you get this loose, get all 4 of them out, get this loose, you can slip it down over it. It's got a plate here that goes inside of a little square on both sides. You get that lined up, and then you can tighten this one up and it'll stay till you get the rest of your screws back in. So I'm gonna pause it right here and get the rest of the screws in, and I'll be back. What I want to point out is when you start tightening these screws up, you do them hand tight. Get them all in lined up. Tighten them all down with your hand because these are very fine threads, and if you strip this hole out, you've screwed. So just take your time. It's only on this side. I didn't have to do much on the other side. But make sure you hand tighten these. Don't strip them out. Okay, I have tightened these down as far as I can go with my hand. I'm going to take the wrench. Snug this one up first. Once you get these hand tight as far as you can go, then take your wrench and snug them up. Don't torque them, just snug them for now. Just till they get tight. Crisscross, so you're tightening them up evenly. I know most folks is going to know how they're doing it, and I know there's probably going to be some criticism, but this is for beginners, and I'm trying to make it where it's easy setup because I'm learning as I go too with this. So nothing's perfect ever, but I'm just snug them up for now because you still got more to put in. Now, my guess is these longer ones go here. We got this size, which is probably about 3/4. Then we got this size, probably about 1/2 inch. I'm guessing the longer ones go there. So you got these little washers that go with these that I'm about to put in here. Don't lose these because you're gonna need them. And if you have big fat fingers like I do and can't pick stuff up, I'm using needle nose to get them out of the container. So that kind of helps. You be easy with these. You don't want to strip them out. All this is fine thread stuff, machine screws, and if you strip them out, if you strip the threads out in there, you're messed up. So don't get in a hurry. You can't get in a hurry setting a machine like this up. It takes time. You got to be patient. You got to, make sure that you just take your time. The same thing, you tighten these up hand tight, and then you ease them down. Don't force them. If it don't want to go, wiggle the gantry around a little bit. Okay, so it's looking like the long ones don't go in there because they're bottoming out on the plate behind there. So I'm guessing the short ones has got to go in here. So we're going to try that. It don't have any, I looked in the USB, it didn't have a owner's manual, so I'm guessing this is what we got to do. Just, and I don't think them go in there either. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe they do go there. I don't know. I'm gonna have to study on this because it's something ain't right. I don't want to. So by taking my time, it looks as if the long ones go in these. The 4 long ones. There's 8 short ones and 8 long ones. It seems that these go in here, so they're not. When you put them in, make sure you just snug them up. Make sure they're all in because you don't want to strip them. Just take your time. This one was a little tight on me, so it's kind of freaking me out. I don't want to strip it. So loosen these back up a little. Get the wrench, it does loosen these up some. You don't want to put none of these bolts in a bind, none whatsoever, because them little fine threads will strip. See, that one's getting too tight and it's freaking me out. We'll try the other end. So the other end appears to be going in pretty good at the moment. not sure if all the machines will be this way, but I had to loosen this micro switch here in order to get that nut in. You have to move this, be able to move this over. So you got to take this one out and loosen this one, then you can shift it and get that one in. Because if you don't, it'll go in crooked and cross there. So once you get that in, then you can tighten this back up. And you snug it up. You don't want to torque it down. None of this stuff gets torqued. Just all snugged up, because it was snugged up when I loosened it. It wasn't very tight. And then once you get that in, then you can come back in here and ease these in. I've got them all in. May have to move this little switch. I don't know. We're going to see. Maybe not. But you just ease them in. You can't turn them with your finger because you can't get in there. But you ease them in until they stop. Easy as you go. Then you can snug them all up. Nothing is getting very tight at this point. We're just snugging stuff up. See. And then now we'll move back to the other side. And see what we can do here. That one right there has really got me scared. It's tight, and you don't want to force it in. So make sure these are all loose. I know this is going to be a long review, but it needs to be done so other people can learn from my mistakes. Yes, I don't know about that. Go ahead and take all these out. Put them all back out. You're always going to have one of anything that gives you a problem. Always. I'm having an issue getting this bolt in. I'm afraid it's cross-thread. It won't cross-thread if I force it. So I'm going to put some of the other stuff together and then see where these little ones end up going. Because they won't go in this, the little screws will not go in this hole because the washer is too big and it keeps it from going down where it needs to go. So I'm pretty sure that these long ones is what goes in here. But, you know, it scares me because it's tight. So I'm going to move on to some other stuff. I'm going to put I know these long bolts here go to this. So I'm going to go ahead and install this somewhere. It's got 2 or 3 places you can put it in. One is center and one is off center. So we're going to see about the one that's center. Put them in there like that. Just starting them with my finger for now. Let's see, let me find the wrench that does go to that. I believe it's this one. Yep. So just tighten these up with my finger. Snug them up. And let's see about putting the spindle in. So this right here was wrapped around the spindle. So I'm not sure. I mean, I can't read it. If somebody wants to read it, they can read Chinese. But it's in Chinese and I can't read it. This looks like maybe look like a Makita spindle. They're pretty good. I got one on my other machine. It works out pretty good. But these here, you know, I don't know, not sure which way it needs to go. I'm guessing this way. So the controls on the front. I'm assuming it bottoms out there. Now I'm just going to snug these up a little bit to it. Not torquing it down, just snugging it up to it for now. All right. All right. I'm gonna pause for a little bit and figure out what the next step is. I was having trouble getting this one started with the plate on here, so I had to take this plate here off and loosen all these, and I put a little bit of dry lube on the screw and got the hole cleaned out, hopefully, so I can put the plate back on here and get all these in there. So with some very careful manipulating everything, I got this one in. I put a little bit of dry lube on it. Let me show you what I used. It's WD-40 dry lube. It don't leave an oily residue. So you may need to put a little lube on it to get it going. But I think I'm going to try to get all this back together and then I'll come back. So I've finagled around and got all these started. So I'm going to tighten them up and see what we got. I can get a hold of the right wrench. I'm just going to snug them all up. You really have to take your time with this, because you don't get but one chance to strip that hole out. And if you stripped it out, you're messed up. So you have to manipulate at this end here. I did. Now your machine may not be this way, but you know, nothing is never perfect. So you have to kind of manipulate it a little bit. Tighten these up snug, and I'm gonna snug these up. Just snug for now. Get these snugged up, and then I'm gonna go down to the other end and snug all them up. Okay. So now I think we're to a point that we can go ahead and tighten these down. And you just want to, get them snug and maybe just a little bit. And you go crisscross. Snug and just a little bit. Turn it tight and just a little bit. These don't have to be that tight. It ain't going nowhere. Snug just a little bit. Snug just a little bit. Make sure they all feel good and snug. And we'll do the bottoms same way. Tighten it up till it's snug. Snug. Now we're gonna go. They're snug. Turn them till they feel like they're tight. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, and that should get it. The gantry should be installed. You'll have to if you take this off, you'll have to have something to hold this gantry up. You don't want it falling. Okay, I believe the next step is going to be putting the drag chain on. So you just have to get started with it and take your time with it. It's pretty explained. There's it didn't come with any owner's manual or assembly manual, because I don't know why. But you just have to, if you'll take your time, you can figure all this out. Just lay it out. I'll take videos of what I'm doing so you can see how I lay my drag chain out. Drag chain has got a hook right here. There's two holes, and there's screws. Those short screws is probably when he goes here. Drag chain hooks here, and then the cross. This piece has to go across to this side and hook up. I got to figure it all out though. It hooks up to this, and it's got to drag across here. So I got to figure out how. Once I get it figured out, I'll come back with a video. So I hooked this up. I'm gonna try to hook some of the other stuff up it's pretty, they only fit, most of them only fit one place, so it's not going to be hard to mess it. It's not going to be easy to mess it up. So just take your time and get all this hooked up, and I'll come back with another clip in a little bit. So you just have to take your time and make sure you get all your wires hooked up where they need to be. I hadn't hooked those up down there, but that's the way they go. It goes across the back there, hooks into that motor and that motor. These are more powerful motors than is on the other CNC. So this is going to be a workhorse here. That one's a workhorse already, but this one's really going to be a workhorse, and it's really, really good machine. Well built. Everything looks good. I'm getting there, so I'll keep putting segments in as we go to kind of let everybody see how it goes together. This was the problem down here, getting all these lined up. You just had to take your time. I had to undo everything to get that one that I was having trouble with right there to go in. And I put a little bit of lube on it like I showed in the earlier video. So you just take your time. And it's not that hard, but it's not fast. It's going to take you a while. I've been working on this since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's already 4 my time. So it's going to take a while. You just have to take your time. I brought the drag chain down, hooked this up, and you'll have to work you some slack so you have room to hook up here. This hookup goes across to this side, from across the back of the machine. It's got fasteners that let you fasten it to this back rail. So you just you just work it around and get them all plugged up. Once you start plugging things up, it kind of comes together, but you got to take your time and just work it around. Make sure these cables is coming back is more suitable on this side of this drag chain down here, so it won't get in the way of the motion of the drag chain, and then come under and come across and plug up here. So that starting to come together. It just takes a little time. Okay, guys, these small bolts that I didn't know earlier whether they went in the side or not, they are what you use to hook your drag chain to there, up here, and then down here. You got to do the same thing down here at the bottom. I've done that one already, but that's what the small bolts are for. So I just wanted to point that out and make sure. And then once I get this top drag chain, it's got some attachments over there to kind of fasten it down. So once I get a little more down the road, I'll do another short video. When you get down to this, you got to get all this little attachment here hooked up, and then the probe, which is this, hooks into this one. So you got to hook the probe into that, and put your probe right here on magnetic, run it over and get it hooked up to right there. 2 screws left, and those 2 is going to go when I hook the bottom of this drag chain to this. That's where that hook, the bottom drag of the drag chain hooks to this little bracket here on the controller. So I'm going to get that hooked up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like once you get it hooked up. It's hooked to your controller, and as it goes back, it unrolls, and as this one goes across, it unrolls and goes where it needs to go. Just make sure you got everything hooked up good, and just take your time, and it'll come together. It's slow go. I hooked up the power cable, which goes in there in the box, back of the box. The big heavy one is the power cable. Get it hooked up. Double check everything, make sure everything is all hooked up right. So I'm assuming these right here is what holds the drag chain to the gantry. So I'm going to install these, and I'll show you what they look like after I get it done. back to these little clips. I rethought that. I don't think they go here. I think they go back there on the back to hold that against the back of the machine. So I think that's where I'm going to put these. This don't need to be bound down because it's got to move. So yeah, they go back there. These do. I decided against putting those clips on the back. I don't know for sure they even go there. It's not really a good place to stick them because this is wood and that's got a, so it's really not a good place to stick them. So I'm going to hold off on those for now. I got it all up and going. Had to redo the drag chain, but it's I'm using my little controller here, see? Forward, side to side. And then up and down. To get up and down, I push this. So far, everything's going. I'm gonna quit for today. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll probably run some kind of job tomorrow. Oh, I've got it all set up, and I've already cut a little job. I'm gonna design another circle over here, so you can see how to do the setup. This is my 2x4. I've got the size, the width, the height, and the thickness of the material. So I've got basically the material set up, and I always do mine. I start from the center on most jobs. So click OK. Now I'm going to design the circle. So I'm going to get a circle, put it over here. I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to grab the circle and bring it down, put it right there. Okay, so we got our circle on our 2x4 that we're going to cut right here. So now that I've got the drawing done, I can go to the tool, set the tool path. So I'm going to set it as a pocket, and I'm going to set it where it's a 1/4 inch deep. I'm using a end mill 1/4 inch. I'm going to do raster, which will cause it, instead of, because the grains are running this way, it will run with the grain instead of across the grain, because if it goes across the grain, it'll make marks. So I've got that, and I've got to select it, and then I'm going to calculate it. Once it calculates, it'll show you your cutting. Okay, now that I've got that done, I can save the toolpath now. Close this, go to Save Toolpath. I'm gonna save it as one file. That's the bit I want to use. Come down, Save Toolpath. So a pop-up comes up. I need to name it now. Pocket TEST. Pocket Test. I'm going to save it in a sample folder. I've got a folder on my desktop called Sample. I'm going to save it. Save it. Okay, so we're done with this. I'm going to close this down. Now, I use open builds. I highly suggest using open builds to run any job. It runs the job for you. So I'm going to click Open Builds. I'm going to go up here and make sure my machine is connected. It's connected. So now I'm going to load my job. And there it is right there. That's the one I run earlier, and this is the one I'm about to run now. So once I click open, it loads it into Open Builds. And I can run the simulator. And there it is. So now all I need to do is double check. I'm going to have to zero everything in. So you zero everything in. Get your bits all lined up. Okay, so I've got it. I'm about to line up you got to line up your machine with your zero mark. And how I got this, I marked from this corner to this corner to that corner, got the center of the material. So you line your machine to your zero. Get it right on zero. All right. Now once you get it on zero, you got to come over to the computer and you have to zero everything out so it knows exactly where it is. I'm going to zero the X, the Y, and I'm going to zero the Z, but we're fixing to set the probe so we don't have to do the last one, but I'm about to set the probe. I'm going to show you how to set the probe on the machine. So you raise your bit up. Enough to get your probe under it. I'm putting the probe under now. Just set it under here like that. And then make sure you can see. Then you come over here to probe. You hit probe. You hit the confirm probe position. Make sure it's on where it needs to be. And then you hit probe. And it will set the probe. It set the probe for me. So I'll do that again so you can see it on the camera. I'm gonna reset the probe. Probe, confirm position, which is confirmed. Probe. I'm gonna hit the button probe, and it's gonna go down. It's gonna tap the probe, and it's gonna say, "Okay, we're done." So now at this point, we're ready to run the job. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna raise the bit a little bit. Make sure you put this out of the way. It stays hooked up, but it's got a place there for it, and I just kind of watch it. I'm gonna lower my bit. So, and the way I do it is I've got the spindle run direct to an electricity, not in the back of the machine. I have to cut it on right here, which is fine. So just bear with me. I put this up here to keep the chips from coming out here where I'm sitting. So now it's ready. So what we're going to do now, and you may not can hear me, but once it started, is I'm about to run this job over here. I'm going to show you the job. I'm about to run the job we got on the screen there. So I'm going to put this back over here so you can see me run the job. I'm going to cut the router on. I'm going to click run job. And have your cursor over the abort in case something goes wrong. It's going to position. It's going to cut the job. It's running raster because the grain is running this way. You don't want to go across the grain. Job done. It's going to return to 0. Cut your router off. Nice clean cut. Just a little sanding would get the fuzzies off, a little rubbing. Nice clean cut. So that's the setup I use. Now, you know, if you got any comments or questions, you can leave them in the description and I'll answer as many as I can, as best as I can. But that pretty much completes the review at this point. Okay guys, that's pretty much from start to finish, out of the box setup, going through some of the issues I had. You may run into different issues. You may be, you know, yours may go completely smooth. But just keep in mind, when you're installing a machine like this, it don't always go smooth. Sometimes you have issues. Most of the time you're going to have issues you have to fix, but you have to just take your time and work through it. Now, my assumption of the Axiscreat X6060X is an amazing machine. I highly recommend it for anyone that's a beginner on up to your business. It will do whatever you need it to do, as long as it'll fit on that bed, which is 23.6 by 23.6, almost 24. So it's a pretty good sized bed. I have it, and you can cut 23.6 wide, but you can cut as long as you want if you do it in tiling, and that's more advanced. You'd have to work on that later, but you could cut an 8-foot piece as long as it's 23.6 wide, I think. So I highly recommend the machine. I would definitely buy again. I really appreciate Axiscreat for sending this out. They didn't pay me to do this video. They did send the machine out for me to use, but it's a really nice machine and I really like it.